If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Let's go to someone who I greatly enjoy chatting with, and that is former Congressman Peter King. Congressman, there's so much to talk about. First of all, how should this Veterans Day be honored?
By respecting and honoring and giving full credit and thanks to all the men and women in our armed forces, those who served in the past, those who are serving now. And, you know, it can look very exotic and very exciting when you see them marching in their uniforms and parades and all that. So much of their life is spent in the trenches, in cold weather, in very warm weather, training in the desert, training in the freezing cold weather, fighting actually in combat in the mountains, in the jungles. So it's a very, very tough life, and it's we only see it when it's at its glorious best, when we're honoring them and celebrating them. The fact is we should be celebrating them every day of the week, because what they are doing right now is you and I are talking here on the phone, enjoying the comforts of being in heated surroundings while the cold weather is outside. Those guys and those women are outside. They can be freezing somewhere. They could be dying of heat and exhaustion somewhere else, and all at the same time have to worry about bombs going off, rockets coming at them. It's because of them that we can be safe and we can have this type of conversations. So to thank them all from the bottom of our hearts. Let me just say myself, though, from a selfish point, I'm looking forward to me being off the show and being able to listen to Cousin Brucey later in the show.
Fair enough. Yeah. Congressman, there's so much to talk to you about, so much. First of all, let's start with the news of the day. The Senate has voted to end the shutdown. It kicks back to the House. They are expected to vote tomorrow. President Trump may end this officially by end of the week. But it seems to me, and explain this to me, the Democrat Party has become the party of no. And break this down, this debate issue, because the debate issue as far as the shutdown, I am proud of the Republican Party for not budging on health care to the demand that Democrats made. Put this in language that everyone can understand, Congressman King, please.
Well, obviously, we do have health care issues. We're always going to have them. That's just the reality of life as longevity increases, as medical advances continue. There's always going to be adjustments have to be made, and that will be done. And the Republicans want to do that. But the fact is the Democrats, rather than go into meaningful negotiations, say, we're going to shut the government unless you give us full subsidies now for everything involving health care, even if there's no real limitations on them. So we don't know, for instance, how much of that money is legitimate, how much is going to people who are not entitled to it. And when Republicans, all they wanted was time to have meaningful, real negotiations. The Democrats who just want to fight with Donald Trump no matter what. That's the base of their party. And the people who want to stay in leadership, they have to carry this fight forward. So they picked an issue which they thought would be emotional, talk about health care, that if you didn't shut the government down, if you didn't give in to them, that meant that you wanted people to die in the streets, you wanted young people to starve, all of this nonsense. And I give the Republicans credit for not backing down on that. They're saying we are more than willing. We want to. We want to be in the leadership of advancing health care reforms and promises, but we want to do it without a gun to our head, without having to give in to every one of your basically hostage-type demands. And, for instance, the issue of illegal immigrants getting health care, getting these subsidies. The fact that people who may be totally fraudulent getting it. And so to see what the right way to do it is also to make sure that more money goes actually into healthcare, actually goes to individuals rather than just to insurance companies. That also all has to be worked out. But the Democrats, they didn't want to do that. They just want to make a demagogic issue. It's the Trump derangement syndrome. So people like Senator Schumer, who was boxed in here in the state by AOC, and others around the country, they wanted to show that they were tougher than tough, that they would bring the whole government down rather than let Donald Trump operate this government. And they stood firm. And I don't know where they thought this was going. There really was no way out. They had very effectively, very brilliantly, very cleverly set up a system where they boxed themselves into a corner. And the only way they could get out was to somehow say, well, now we're out. We're not going to be hurt as much as we could be after all the damage we've caused. So, no, this is a loss for the Democrats, but it's really a loss for the whole system because it makes everybody look bad. And so I just hope now the government reopens, and what's going to happen, that the cleavage with the Democratic Party is greater now or worse now, how you want to look at it, than it's been before. You have the progressive left and the left. There's a split between the two of them, and they are killing each other. So people like Chuck Schumer right now are on the ropes. They're coming at him, and it seems, I mean, he's now become the target of late-night comics, of the left wing of the Democratic Party, of many in the left-wing media. So they are absolutely in a far worse position than they were 41 days ago.
Does Schumer survive all of this?
It's going to be tough. I mean, there's two things he has to survive. One, is he going to stay on as the Democratic leader in the Senate? The problem is the more moderate Democratic senators don't like the fact that he appears to be giving in to the progressive wing of the party because of AOC and Mandami and the issues back here in New York. On the other hand, the progressives feel that he's not aggressive enough at all as far as protecting their interests. So he's really losing support from both wings of his party. Listen, Chuck is a very able guy, very smart guy. If anyone on their side can survive this, it's him. But his condition is definitely changed and deteriorated from just a few months ago. So it's going to be very, very tough. And if he does survive, the party has to be weaker because they're going to have this internal fight going on. Listen, Chuck Schumer is a very tough opponent to have. But if he spends most of his time fighting off the left wing of his party, he can't be effectively fighting the Republicans.
Absolutely, Congressman King. I got about 2 minutes left here. Mom Donnie. The guy is so bad, I say his name twice. Already, Governor Hochul says no, he wants the free bus service, as you know. She says no, it's not going to happen. So how did we end up in this position with Mom Donnie as the mayor-elect, and how do you assess the election?
Well, listen, he won, but again, he barely got 50% of the vote. And I don't think he would have gotten the 50%, even with the fact that Curtis and Andrew Cuomo were going at each other. That detracted votes overall. If it could have been just one, if it had just been Cuomo against Mandami, I think Cuomo could have won, but he certainly would have gotten much closer to 50%. But he did win, and that's the reality. But I think right now what we're seeing between Mandami and Hochul is sort of what Chuck Schumer is facing in the Senate. Kathy Hochul realizes that to get elected statewide, she can't be supporting these crazy schemes of Mandami, for instance, to have free bus rides. But on the other hand, if she's challenged in a primary, if she will be by her attorney, at least a lieutenant governor from the left, if not others, if she's challenged from the left by the progressives, as she will be, then she has to be much closer to Mandami. So she's going to be torn between trying to show some separation from him, but on the other hand, giving him what as much as he wants as she can give him. So I see a real fight developing between the governor and the mayor, and then if she gives in to the mayor, then between Governor Hochul and the electorate in November, when you have either Bruce Blakeman or Elise Stefanik really chasing her around.
And it's going to be interesting, Stefanik and Bruce Blakeman. She's a rock star. So is he, the Nassau County executive. I don't know how that plays out. But, I want to ask you this, Congressman King. And folks, we are about to go to your telephone calls. We're going to take a short break. Then we're going to go right to your calls. And at the bottom of the hour, Cousin Brucey, who has done a lot to help veterans going back to the 60s. It's going to be very interesting to hear what he has to say. Congressman King, one of the greatest responses I look forward to from you is that when I ask you what story are you looking for in the days ahead, it tips me off as a journalist for what I should be looking at, what the public should be looking at. So how do you answer the question right now? What are you looking at, Congressman Peter King, as far as the future?
Sort of what we were just talking about, the friction within the Democratic Party between Hochul and Mandani and between Chuck Schumer and the progressive left, because this is more than just an internal fight. This is a fight for the soul of their parties and in many ways, ultimately, the soul of the nation. So that is what I'm going to be watching, how brutal and how bitter that divide is going to be and what impact it's going to have on the overall electorate.
Congressman Peter King, it's always an absolute pleasure to chat with you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dominic.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.